Cadets, though, make their way out onto the circuit for the final one of their 3 heats. And on pole position will be Catherine Potter. She lines up on the inside with the 22 of Jared Fox-Whiteley, another one of the drivers that we spoke to during our lunch break. Row number 2 will be Lizzie Mentier and Gracie Mitchell. Row 3, David Mack and Isabella Stansmore-Wilson. Then we're going to have row 4 of Max Shields and Ethan Gerling. Looks like Kian McLeod and Jack Thompson on row 5. Row 6, Oliver Watson and Leon Barlow, before we have Thomas Potter and Ethan Charles. Tom Holden in the 87 and William George Howard in the 23 on row number 8. Row 9, Cody Lamb and Josh Cooke. And then Charlie Wyatt, who retired from heat number 2, will start the number 23 from the back row. As we will expect to see him to progress through the field, and not sure what caused him to pull off the track. He seemed to be running reasonably, although be it in around about 10th place, and I know that he's far more accustomed to running at the head of the field, so we'll assess the progress of that 23 during heat number 3 as the front row rolls itself forwards. Looks like, as expected, everybody has opted for a dry tyre. The circuit now barring a couple of puddles which have been coned off on the inside are away, and they will like
this is where it's going to get a bit tricky now, isn't it? Because if someone goes off the circuit, they're going to bring a load of water on, and then everyone's going to enter that section of track without knowing.
Yeah, especially on the slicks as well. If you go off the track onto the grass, you're going to struggle to get any form of traction whatsoever to get it back on. Luckily, we miss out the first chicane with the cadet class. They run straight down into the national loop, but as we saw in heat number 1, still doesn't totally eliminate any sort of risk. A couple of drivers getting themselves caught up. So the final row is in position. Looks like the 27 is just going to get himself straightened up. Marshall there offering some assistance. Start line Marshall moves to the front. Just have a quick look at how much that green flag is blowing around in the wind to see what we mean by the wind causing a problem. The green flag is up, it's down, and we are underway and racing. Gracie Mitchell makes a great start from the second row, as does David Mack, but they all move to the inside to try and block her off. Round the corner though goes Catherine Potter. She leads, so it's Potter from Fox-Whiteley. Mitchell up from the third row into 3rd place. David Mack with a good start as well, up into 4th. Mentier is 5th. Ethan Gerling with a good start in the number 8 in 6th place. The chicane is put back into place, ready for the drivers who come round, and all of our cadet drivers are round on the opening lap. Catherine Potter will lead them round with Fox-Whiteley behind. Mitchell will come under pressure from David Mack, who looks to go to the inside, but can't get the job done, and they will all go single file round that corner. Jared Fox-Whiteley, though, will go to the inside of Catherine Potter. Potter, though, led every lap so far in the cadet class as they come over the line for the first time. It's Potter and Fox-Whiteley, Mitchell, Mack, Mentier, Gerling, Shields, Stansmore, Wilson, Kian McLeod and Charlie Wyatt up from the back of the grid to 10th place already. And joining me for this cadet race, and possibly the junior Rotax race afterwards, if he carries on talking through all of it, is the man that is responsible. I'm going to say that you're responsible. I know there's a couple of people that help out as well for preparing that number 23 car of Charlie Wyatt. Matty Street, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary box. Good start from your man in the number 23, Charlie Wyatt, up to 10th already.
Yeah, he's had a bit of an off day, but it's getting there.
What happened in heat 2? I know the arm came up and he pulled in. Was he just not happy with the engine? Was it not giving him what he wanted, or any sort of serious problems? He's flying now up into 9th.
Yeah, no major issues really. Maybe a bad tyre decision choice, but give his head a bit of a wobble and see he's flying around now.
I mean, we saw last season from Charlie in that 23, and he did win the O-Plate meeting here in December. On his day, one of the quickest cadet drivers out there on the extreme grid. Sometimes just his head just not in the right place occasionally, and that does have a big effect on him. But when his head is in the right place, oh, he's a really quick driver.
Yeah, well, you've got to think there's massive pressure on this grid. You've got some really quick drivers, Catherine Potter, Jared Fox-Whiteley, David Mack. You know, there's the front field of this is such a competitive grid.
We've looked at it, even with drivers moving away either up into junior pro car, and at least 3 drivers have moved out of this class, and you've still got at least 4 drivers that have taken race wins here. You've probably got 7 or 8 drivers that have taken wins in this class at other tracks as well. And then all of them are going to continue this battle at various tracks throughout the country in a brand new championship this season that you're going to tell me a lot about.
I wondered why you called me in. Yeah, so the national, the Cadet Kart Championship, we've got 28 drivers so far at 7 rounds, and quite a lot of the Teesside grid as well, so it's going to be great to see all these good drivers competing at a national level.
So as they come over the line, we will have a new race leader, and it will be a new name at the top of the pile for the first time. It's the 16 of David Mack. He's found his way past Catherine Potter. Gracie Mitchell finds her way back up into 3rd, having dropped away behind Jared Fox-Whiteley. And we have a battle of 7 karts for the lead, with Mack at the front and Ethan Girling in the number 8 right at the back. And there is absolutely nothing between them. There's 1.1 seconds between the leader and 7th place. And as Luke mentioned during heat number 2, this is what cadet racing is all about.
It is, yeah, you know, fun, fair and fast.
Well, certainly, and your CKC Championship does come to Teesside, I believe, is it May?
Oh, I don't know, at some point.
It's your calendar, Matt. I know that you come to Teesside. The championship does start in a few weeks. Where is round 1 at?
Round 1's next weekend at Rowra.
Excellent. I got you to pronounce it because I can't. But we've got 3 laps remaining of our cadet class. Now you've got a couple of cadets out there that you're running today, and you've got an awning full of karts on this grid. The cadet class, I know you've obviously run Charlie. There's a couple of others that are in your stable.
Oh, sorry,
as well.
Catherine Potter just went for a little nibble on David Mack then.
On the bottom. Look at you, you're getting into the rhythm of this commentary thing.
You've got a good
before
view
you
now.
even know
now
it.
You can see out these windows. You've got a good view in here.
It's good. Before we just had the window to the right and the screen, but now we can see everything, which is good. You can just pick up on everything else that's happening on the track. As looks like the 8 of Ethan Girling has just dropped away from this battle for the lead. It still remains 6 strong there with 2 laps remaining. It's Mack, Potter, Mitchell, Fox-Whiteley, Shields and Mentier in the 50. And all of these karts are going to be starting right towards the front of the grid in around about an hour's time when the finals start with our Bambino class. And I wouldn't like to pick a winner out of any of the top 7. Girling, though, the toe has gone and he's dropped away. And unless something happens with this front pack, I mean, they're all being very sensible about it. But in a moment, they're going to see that last lap board. And I think the mentality of some of the drivers will change as they know that they've only got about 60 seconds, if that 50, if it's a quick lap, to get Max Shields, though, in the 18, fastest lap of the race, a 49.545 in 5th place in the middle of this battle as well. And that's great to see a fastest lap whilst in the middle of racing. We've got just over half a lap as David Mack defends into hairpin number 2. Catherine Potter's going to try and get a run out. She can't get it done.
Gracie Mitchell out.
Mitchell's going to get one. Mack's going to go defensive. We saw Mack at the O-Plate meeting. Very aggressive when it comes to defending his position in the lead. Goes tight in there, and everybody's going to have to work. I think one's going to have to go one side, one the other. It's going to be a run to the line. It looks like it's going to be a win for David Mack, unless Catherine Potter's going to try and go right the way around the outside. Close. Potter's got the run. Potter comes over the line. Potter takes it by under a tenth. Catherine Potter on the line wins heat number 3 from David Mack. Mack tried to defend. Potter ran all the way around the outside. Gracie Mitchell in 3rd. Max Shields 4th. Fox-Whiteley 5th. Mentier in 6th. Ethan Girling 7th. Charlie Wyatt 8th from the back of the grid with Kian McLeod and Isabella Stansmore-Wilson rounding out the top 10. Catherine Potter makes it 3 heat wins from 3 races, right on the line, all the way round the outside. And by every right, that was David Mack's race until maybe the last metre before the line.
Yeah, talk about leaving it till last second.
I mean, it was a great move round the outside. I think Mack tried to defend and hook the inside and thought that Potter might try and go to the other side. She's run all the way round the outside there to come over the line, and she will line up in the final. And the amazing thing is, until she comes off the track, I don't think she knows that she's won this, because it was that tight over the line. I don't think either of them know who's taken the win until they come off the track, and they'll be greeted by their parents after they've gone over the weighbridge. And I don't think either of those 2 drivers are going to know who's won that one. It was that close over the line. And I'm going to let you speak for a little bit, Matt. I'm in the same way that I was after the Junior Pro Kart Heat 2.
You're out of breath.
Lost all my breath getting all excited there, but what a superb heat of racing. I think heat number 2 Junior Pro Kart was, I think at the time I said was race of the day. I think that Cadet race has just about beat it with that finish over the line. You're not going to get any closer than that in any form of motorsport.
No, yeah, it's first time on slicks as well, isn't it, for everybody, for the Cadets?
Certainly is. I mean, the track certainly dries very quickly, especially up this top end. The bottom end remains a little bit greasy, certainly around hairpin number 3, because they do a lot of car racing and drifting, so you get a lot of car rubber on the inside. Round the outside you get all the drift car rubber, so there's no real, what you'd normally say, no real wet line, because there's just rubber everywhere, and it's just like sheet ice when you come off the south bank. So,
and there's a lot of different tarmac changes as well, isn't there, as you go around the circuit?
Yeah, around the outside of hairpin number 4, there's about a 1 metre strip of different